Talk, a no facts, all feelings wrestling podcast on the Social Suplex Network. I'm Allie.
I'm Ann.
And I'm Leah.
And Leah and I are both sick. We're sick. We're sick today. We're sick.
That's good. You didn't forget to bring it up. That's excellent.
And did you say it, Leah?
No,
Leah like,
I said it.
Leah was like, we should discuss our health at the top of the pod. I was like, how would you stop me? Like, of course I'm going to immediately get on here and be like, I'm sick. I have a dry cough. It's been caused by my office, my job, forcing me to go back into the office one day a week. So I go there and I pick up all the nasty germs from my coworkers, and now I have a dry cough.
I have been sick for what feels like fucking 2 weeks at this point, and I was starting to feel better, and all of a sudden it came back. Might even be 3. I've been dying, and now what I'm left with is like this deeply unattractive, like I described it as a Dolores Umbridge cough, where it's like just consistently I want to be like.
Should we preface some of our topics that way tonight? Next up. Ann, how's your health?
It's fine so far, but I have to go on a plane this weekend and then again in 2 weeks. So
it's over
I'm
for
sure
you.
It's all over.
Fucking over for you.
And I would like, today, tomorrow, I would just stand around and like breathe through your throat, like exhale through your nose. Just really like savor it while you can. Just really feel it.
No, but yet maybe this is on me actually because, okay, not your situation. I mean, your situation is your own, but I made a mental leap in my mind about how when I got home from the office on Tuesday, I was so exhausted from seeing people that I just lay down in bed and then didn't get back up the whole rest of the night. Like that was it. I was just in bed. And so what didn't I do? I didn't use my brand new glucose spray that's supposed to go up the nose. I didn't use my not desalination. It's salinated.
It's salination.
I didn't use any
your
of
nose
the
salts.
Tools I had procured that were supposed to prevent this from happening. So maybe learn from my example and maybe get some of those things.
Maybe. There is actual science? This isn't like a Joe Rogan thing?
No, it's not a Joe Rogan thing. I will send you, if I can find it, I'll send you the article that I was looking at.
And it's crazy. I mean, I guess some hockey players and Russell Brand gave it to her.
Yes, it's my amulet. Of course it's my amulet.
And of course it's very scientifically based, yeah.
I loved to learn that WWE is hawking the amulet, too. The amulet is like the most fun thing that's like been happening on the internet this week, maybe? Could that be right?
I think it's one of those things where if you like described it to somebody not online, it would almost sound cool. Like the internet's so upset about an amulet that we're all like, should you buy the amulet? What will the amulet do?
To be clear, no one on this podcast has at any point asked, should we buy the amulet? We know that the amulet is fake.
No, I don't think that amulets should be purchased. I believe that they should only be inherited with a curse already on it.
Yeah.
That's what amulets are for.
They shouldn't be manufacturing amulets.
No, and that's how you get protected from Wi-Fi and the radiation that's being given to us by it.
One of your ancestors foresaw the dangers of Wi-Fi and radiation and said, I'll cook up a little amulet to pass down through the family line.
That is it. That's it. And listen, if you don't have an ancestral amulet, you should have luck.
Yeah, my ancestors were not on top of the Wi-Fi situation. Boy, Scottish idiots.
My God. Well, girls, here we are, though. Ill we may be, sad in mind, dispirited in body, and yet we prevail. Do we not?
We're here.
We're here. So right up front, let's just let you know we have merch. You've heard about it, but we'd like to mention it sometimes because we do think it's very nice merch. We'll just let you know that if you want it, you can get it at choptees.com. And we may be cooking up some new items for you.
Yeah. There's something in the works.
Pretty excited about it.
Yeah. It is pretty fun. Yeah.
If you like Diesel, you might like it. So
I'm trying to sing it to the tune of If You Like Pina Colada.
If you like Diesel a lot.
and you want to use our pumps. So that's kind of a little teaser, you know?
That's the ad we're going to release for it.
Yes. We should run little fake ads at the start of the show.
Oh my God. What if the Social Suplex all cut fake little ads and then we put it on each other's podcast?
Okay,
our ad
is smart.
I know.
That is smart, yeah.
And in fact, I don't think I'm inventing something here. I think it's like cross-network marketing is like a normal thing.
Well, no, but I think you're inventing something for us. Are we synergistic queens?
Are we supporting the network and our peers? Genius marketing idea.
All right, well, we're going to hop in the group chat
and
say, everybody hop on and record like a 20-second ad.
I think everyone's going to love that.
I can't wait to hear what Josh has to say about that.
What, next week? Okay. Our next announcement, this probably won't surprise you now that you've heard the whole beginning of the pod, but we're a little wonky. We got a lot going on right now, and so we're just giving you a heads up. You'll hear about it again. We will be off in November. We're going to be on vacation in November.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so excited.
Some of us will be on work trips more than vacation, but we won't be podcasting.
Some of us will be 100% on. Some of us are going to Australia with our brothers, and we are going to be at the beach. So that's what some of us will be doing.
Man.
But others will be doing different things.
You know, it's good we called off that third week because it looks like I'm going to have to work 2 to 10 in the afternoon. So
horrible.
Yeah.
God.
No talk November.
No talk November. We'll come back on Thanksgiving Day.
we are cooking up some filler content, a little light filler content for November. So you'll see something on the feeds, but unfortunately, whatever Tony has planned for the Full Gear push is not going to get a lot of attention from your girls.
Simply won't be our business.
It simply will not be. And I can't wait to come back in November and be like, in December and be like, now why is that happening?
Because we
not
won't
get
have
any
watched
answer.
any
None
of
of us will be able to answer. The one thing I am still worried about, I'd love to get some clarity on when that C2 is happening. I am pretty worried about us missing literally our favorite time of the year.
I know.
But Connie season, when we become sports girls, it's the most beautiful transformation.
For us, and I think for the listeners, I think everybody really enjoys just being like, what happened to them? Who were those demons in my ears this week?
I bet it'll come back. I bet the Connie will start the week we come back. That's my...
I hope so. Well,
Tony,
maybe Tony's
if you're
listening now. Tony, come on.
Yeah, Tony,
just
don't you love your girls?
We're going to be doing so much free advertising for that, Connie. I mean, we go ham, okay? So just keep it in reserve for when we get back. But we'll be here for the next few weeks. This is just giving you guys a heads up so you can emotionally prepare yourselves.
Yeah, emotionally gird your loins, yeah.
I'm like, it's halfway through October. They're going to need to know.
They're going to need to know.
All right. Anything else that you want to disclose about your private lives? We discuss the wrestling. Guess that's a no. Wrestledream was this past weekend, which feels like it was 1,000 years ago. I cannot believe that how much has happened in this week.
Absolutely wild. Yeah.
Did you guys enjoy the pay-per-view? We watched a day late together.
We did.
Which was
Thank you to our channel for not spoiling
Yes.
us.
I know, that was so nice. I went and I told them that we were watching late. Please don't tag us in anything, and they were so good to us.
Thank you.
Which was
I had literally the second that you said that we had watched it immediately
Hangman's
a bunch of people were like to us,
and we loved that too.
We did.
Here's a close up of Hangman's ass.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had the very funny experience where I was like, yes, I'm not going to be spoiled. I'm going to protect, I'm going to try not to click on anything. I'm not on Discord. I'm not on Twitter. And then I was like, but I am producing an episode of Drew and Sarah before I get a chance to watch. But it was fine. I actually got a really strange idea of what was in the pay-per-view.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting first look, I think.
Mm-hmm. It was it definitely was one of those things where I was like, oh, I thought that this was going to be a bigger part of the pay-per-view.
we'll get to that as we continue to discuss. Do you guys have any broad impressions of the pay-per-view before we start drilling down on some of our storylines? Did you enjoy yourselves?
It was totally fun. It wasn't their best pay-per-view, but it wasn't their worst pay-per-view. Like, most of it, I was like, this was pleasant, you know?
Yeah.
Which is nice.
I didn't regret the nothing I paid for it.
Don't tell them what we did or didn't pay.
I paid for it.
Don't speak on what was or wasn't paid to whom. Just know that we pay for almost all of them.
Yeah. We do.
It's quite a bit of money every year.
Every year.
We should start tracking our pay-per-view costs
along with the revenue.
Podcast expenses.
I kind of don't want to know. I'm like, I think it would be... I think I would have to have a come to Jesus if I knew how much has been spent on pay-per-views over the past 3 years. True. That's not to know. Well, let's start by talking about the big storyline of the night. So Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson fought for the AEW World title in the main event, and Jon Moxley won, and he is once again our AEW World Champion. Now, did Bryan Danielson pass out? What is ref stoppage?
Yeah, ref stoppage is like when the ref, like either they passed out or the ref is like, this isn't safe. We have to stop the whole thing. So I think he passed out.
Interesting. He didn't look, it happened so fast. I mean, it was, let's start there. It was a really sexy match. That's probably the first time I've ever said that about a Bryan Danielson match. There was an erotic energy.
I'm telling you, he comes alive for Mox in a way that he does not come alive for anybody else.
He's just sexually tuned into his husband, and no one else can get it out of him. Yeah, but he was like crime. He was spitting in Mox's face. They were doing. Mox gave big open mouth kisses.
It was like back scratchy and a kissy, like, you may never get this again. So I have to get you so good now. Right. It's like, you can do it outside the ring if you want, but I guess it's special when it's in the ring. So very, very sexy match. And then the ending caught me quite by surprise. I said, what happened?
Yeah. It felt very abrupt. It was like, oh, that's it. Like, I don't know. Sometimes, like, the way they sort of pace a match, like, you're like, oh, yeah, we're getting towards the end. But this time it was just like, oh, okay. Which is fine.
Yeah. And then we went immediately into quite an involved post-match angle. So we had Pac, Claudio, Marina Shafir coming out to help Mox continue to murder Danielson. And then we had Darby Allin and Wheeler Yuta running out to save Danielson. But then Yuta abruptly heel turns, duct tapes Darby into the corner of the ring, and then he plastic bag murders Danielson.
Yeah.
And there was a huge, all the faces are running out one by one to try and help save Bryan Danielson. Pay-per-view ends with Danielson getting stretchered away, and OC, Darby, Danny Garcia, and Hook in frame, looking somber and concerned about what is happening here at All Elite Wrestling.
Excalibur was crying.
Excalibur was crying.
So brutal, which was unsettling, I'll say.
My dad was crying. Weird.
They were at, like, PWG. Am I making this up? Was Danielson at PWG? Cut this. This.
Yes.
He was. Yeah. And Excalibur was at PWG.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So they have a long history. Don't cut it. I knew something. Go ahead.
You want my sweet fact.
Who invented the DDT? Pop quiz.
I wasn't prepared for that one. It's Jake the Snake. We all know that now.
Right.
We'll never forget it.
No, burned in our brains forever.
I feel like a lot of people didn't like this ending. I had concerns about which faces came out, but ultimately, like, broad strokes, I was fine with it. Sometimes it is, like, kind of, like, entertaining to be like, oh, this was, like, the sad end. This is is it Empire Strikes Back where, everything's fucked?
Yeah. We can't always end
You gotta
on a high
watch
note.
Han Solo get put in carbonate sometimes. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was, like, a very sexy end angle, although, like, the faces that came out were very odd, some of them. And then I would have preferred it if Yuta had stayed babyface and gone off on his own. But it was a lot of fun. And then afterwards, I got the enjoyment of all the ROH heads crying about how sad it was, how much they didn't like it, and how their sad feelings shouldn't have happened to them.
You know, we all haven't liked things this year, so one for me, one for you. I had a great time. It was the horniest that I've been in a while, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, there was just so much happening, and it was stuff that was like, oh, this is going to continue to play out for a long time. This is about to be a big, big mess. I thought it was really fun. I had a good time.
It was definitely the sexiest part of the pay-per-view, and it really sets up future stuff really well in kind of a unified way, too. That's one thing where you had a lot of weird people coming out, but it's like, oh, we've got all the baby faces here. And
I think that's starting to get built out more. It became very clear to me, clearer than just watching the show, when I was doing the schedule, where I was like, oh, there's a lot of interlocking stuff right now. It's really hard to pry some of this stuff apart. So there were things that happened at WrestleDream or people you saw where it was like, it's weird that I saw that person, but now it's like, oh, but they're really in the storyline. So it's fine.
Which is why I always am kind of glad that we always seem to record reactions to the pay-per-views after we've seen it, the Dynamite after.
Yeah.
Because I really do think it makes it so much easier to put the pay-per-view in context.
Yeah, because you kind of get a sense of where it's going more, which is nice. And the storylines tend to play out more for sure. So, yeah.
Jeff Jarrett was there. But that's okay. Hey.
You know.
If you wanted to run out now and then, okay. Let him. The one thing that I did put here before we move on to the zillion other things that now have happened with this storyline, I did just want to point out that OC was one of the baby faces who came out at the end and was kind of looking at Mox like, how could you do this? And we did get a backstage segment with him on the pay-per-view where he was just there with Renee, and then Jerry Lynn came up and was like, Orange, don't you want to become a champion? Aren't you proud of yourself and you want to be such a good boy at Tony Khan's AEW? And then Hook came in and was like, yeah, OC, listen to him. And it was so,
so weird.
It clearly was it was like setting up, like OC is going to be like taking part in this feud or like playing the role of like, yeah, maybe I should be stepping up. But I don't know why the number one thing we're doing now when it's like we have to get them in place is we're like, we'll just get an old man out there and kind of like give him a pep talk.
Right. One that's hardly ever been on screen at all. Yeah, it was so funny. It was also odd for a pay-per-view. This pay-per-view had so many like in-ring talking segments and behind the scenes talking segments for a pay-per-view, which was odd. And then it was like, even as it was happening before the closing angle, it was like, oh, so I guess OC's going to get a push. But, like, why do we have this enormous hard-on for people giving people pep, like old men giving people they've never spoken to on screen before, like, a big pep talk?
It was very funny because I was like, I know from watching Pie Spot's interviews that I'm sure Orange Cassidy is really happy that Jerry Lynn is
we know
being
that
nice to him.
Orange Cassidy is obsessed with Jerry Lynn.
Of course, he loves Jerry Lynn. We know
guy,
that. But the casual view.
Somebody
in this case,
where every single High Spots interview with Orange Cassidy might not know that.
It was funny. It's like I wasn't mad about it, but I was like, I think we could have come up with probably something that works better than this, but we didn't. And I guess that's how it is sometimes.
Hook's addition is really what pushed it over into the whole absurd. You know, like Jerry Lynn, you were like, that's crazy. But then it was like when Hook showed up, it was like, what are we doing?
It's like, why did this random toddler then come and be like, yeah, he's right?
Like, we'll find one old man and one young man, like an old priest and a young priest.
Well, it's like the ghost of Christmas past, the ghost of Christmas future, and OC's the ghost of Christmas present. Is that what we're doing here?
Maybe that is what we're doing. Maybe we're moving into Muppet Christmas Carol mode again. Let's go.
Again, it's October, you know? It's starting to get that season.
Yeah. Okay, also at WrestleDream, the Young Bucks fought Private Party and won. Matt Jackson wore more pearls than it really seemed like it would be possible to wrestle in, but he did wrestle in them for a while.
He sure did. He's committed now.
It was so many. And I'm sure they were real. I'm sure they were real.
I did notice that when they came off, they didn't fly off the string. You know, they all stayed there. So
well. Someone is spending on his pearls. After losing, Private Party looked very sad and dismal in the ring, and I think they embraced, maybe. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they, in fact, were so sad that they then approached the Young Bucks backstage on Dynamite this week to be like, we have to fight you again. We're actually so good, we have to fight you again. And Matt was like, you guys might have been our best, strongest opponents of this tag team title season. But we'll never fight you again, no. So, see ya. Did you guys like that?
I think that Matt potentially went too hard in the pay-per-view, like pre-pay-per-view promo where he was like, you guys haven't done anything in 5 years. No one believes that you're challengers. And it was like one of the things where it was like, ooh, I don't think you should say that. But then like he's like, since then he's really been trying to do the thing where he's just a mama lion who's like, oh no, you've hurt me. You've done such a good job.
Oh, you guys were so scary. I was crying. I could never fight you again. It is so sweet because I am just like, those are your little babies. It's so sweet of you to teach your little babies how to be big, strong fighters.
I can't help but like feel that way every time he interacts with either Private Party or Top Flight.
Totally.
He just goes into a mom mode for me where I'm like, look at him. He's caring for his babies. He's teaching them to hunt.
He should have taught them a little more over the past 5 years, I guess. Like, whose fault
I didn't
is
say
it?
he was good at it.
Tony hasn't allowed him to, and Tony has prevented him from doing the mothering he so desperately wanted to do. Okay.
Yeah, he stole his cubs away, and this is the first he's seen of them.
Oh my God, Tony is Cruella de Vil. He took the puppies. He stole the puppies.
Oh, and he's turning them into fur coats for FTR.
Oh no.
Please, it's not going to be a fur coat. It's going to be like a loincloth that Dax wears to wrestle.
Yeah, an ill-fitting loincloth
An ill-fitting
somehow.
loincloth. A diaper, a loin diaper. Leather diaper. Okay, well, let's move on. Also backstage, there was a promo with the entire Elite where they wished Kenny Omega a happy birthday and said they got him a special...
cool way.
In a really cool way. Well, they got him a really cool-looking black cake or something. And then
so yummy.
And then they said, remember that time that your intestines tried to fall out of your body? Check out these intestines. And then they dumped a bunch of I don't know what they used. I mean, it was some kind of
It was
meat.
quite nasty looking.
It was
yeah.
meat. They dumped meat on the cake.
Do you think that, like, JB went to a butcher shop and was like, could you give me the intestines of, like, the grossest animal that you have? Like, I'll pay extra if it's extra
I hope
gross.
he did. And I hope they looked at him and then looked out into the parking lot and saw the scapegoat bus and were just like, I might maybe need to call the police about this.
They're like, this is for a satanic ritual, maybe? There's a goat head.
Is there anyone trapped in your van right now?
And so an employee goes over and looks through the window, and it's just the Bucks and Anna Jay waving back like, hi, do you have the intestines?
I don't know what they did, but then Jack Perry got in the camera's face, and he said, get well soon, Kenny, or die. I don't really care, which I thought was so cunty. I really loved it.
It was really funny.
I mean, JB knows that he's in danger if Kenny comes back, you know? He's that third, fourth man. Someone's got to go.
Yeah, there's a lot of turnover in this role.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying something different where you were like, JB knows he's in danger because the last time he tried to fight Kenny got real weird about it.
Oh, Kenny was so horny.
He was so horny for JB. JB's like,
oh my God, you're right.
don't come back.
totally
You made it
forgot that.
so weird. Kenny was like sniffing JB's armpits.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited again now. I mean, not that I wasn't excited, but wow, this really raises up a notch for me. Okay, so then the Elite and the Conglomeration had a trios match. I mean, for the angle, but I don't know if there was any setup for it. Only tell me if it matters. And they had a really fun match, and Manolo really didn't help me try to put together what happened here at the end. So I know that the Conglomeration won the match. Oh, no, the match was thrown out.
Yeah.
Well, the Conglomeration won via DQ according to Cage Match, because I went to look this up after I saw that, because all I remembered was Wheeler massacring OC and then Melee. So I guess that got
one
thrown
via
out.
let's go with one via DQ / thrown out. That's totally fine. So, but that's good because that solves what I couldn't totally remember, which is the match didn't really end because Yuta just ran out and murdered he murdered another father.
His biological father,
Serial father.
It felt a little bit like transference. Like he's like, I'm feeling all these complicated feelings. One father made me murder my other father, and I don't know what to do with myself, so I'm just gonna go do anger at the only other like parental figure I have.
Mm-hmm. It's like how people recreate the same dynamics to try to make them go better. And he was wearing basically Bryan Danielson's clothes, and he did Bryan Danielson's big jump kick thing, which is like also psychosexually rich, I would say.
There is quite a bit of psychosexual stuff going on here. It startled me. It upset me. I was very angry at him. And then, but also I got kind of confused in my mind because, of course, we all know that Dustin Chuck Taylor isn't wrestling at the moment and wasn't going to come out and save him. But I was like, you leave his father. You let him come out, kill his father. You're his other father. You're like his fourth or fifth father. You don't come save. You don't come save.
I did sit all the way up because I knew that he wasn't going to come out. But if he was going to come out, this is how it would happen. So I was like so tense where I was like, I
knew he wouldn't be able to do anything, but I was like, it kind of seems like you should be here. This is your child.
Yeah, your child's acting out.
Just come talk to him at least.
It was so upsetting to watch him come out of nowhere to just hit OC, just like... You leave him alone. He raised you.
I was more upset about that than him plastic bagging Bryan Danielson.
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Bryan Danielson kind of had it coming, you know.
And I know that Bryan Danielson was horny about it. Like he wants to die in the ring.
Put the bag on. Put the bag on.
Where's OC? No,
he's got a life to live. He's got other things to do. There's more Fast and the Furious movies that are going to come out.
I don't love that now I have a new characterization. I mean, it's pretty much the same, but a new characterization of Danielson in my head where it's like he has floated this. No, I can't get into it, actually. I don't think it would be appropriate for us to continue to discuss it. I think we better leave it on the table. So. Okay, so then this, yet again, we're in a melee segment where everyone is running out. You've got, who do we have here? Top Flight comes in to try and save. Action Andretti is there. Mox murders Action Andretti. The Dark Order comes out. Murdered. Daniel Garcia, Private Party. The Elite, you'll remember, were in the ring when this started. Now, girls, what did those powerful men do?
That was the funniest part of all of this is that, like, Matt was doing the facial equivalent of when we're like, all our best to your family.
Yeah, they, like, went to leave. So they're, like, halfway down the ring, but then they just kind of turn around and they're just watching it with these expressions like, oh, no, oh, this seems bad. I'm not going to get involved, though.
That's crazy. It sucks for you guys.
As guys are, like, running past them, like, bumping them as they...
And Alex Dark Order actually yelled at them and was like, dude, what are you doing? Come with us. And they're like, no.
It's so funny.
Baby.
Matt's face was so funny. It really was just like, oh, shit. This is fucking wild. And it did, like, with a little hint of, like, am I in charge here? Should I do something about this? I don't know what
really
I could possibly do.
So funny when you have this sort of abortive, like, the Elite are, taking over AEW that kind of went nowhere, and then now Mox is taking over AEW, but the Elite are sitting there like, oh, we had more of a, like, fun goof energy, like, more of a passive-aggressive energy, I would say.
Allie, explain the rest of the Daniel Garcia thing, because I do have a point to make about that.
Oh, yeah. So after this all went down, we had another backstage segment where Daniel Garcia stormed up to the Bucks and JB, and he kind of, like, made out with JB. Like, they did, like... This was some of the most forceful and erotic nuzzling I've ever seen. Like, it startled me.
What if you did kissing pose by, like, opening your mouth wide and then kind of pressing it against the other person's face?
Wow, it's just crazy enough to work. But then he was, like, yelling at the Bucks, being like, sorry, are you good bosses or not? Are you going to do anything about this? And the Bucks were kind of like, probably not. I doubt very much that we will.
And I was obsessed with that because I do think it's like, this is the problem with the Elite taking over, is that everybody kind of wanted it, you know? Like, I think like the vibe was very much like, Daniel Garcia's like, you've been saying that you're going to take over for 3 months. We've all been saying, yes, please take over. Now we're actually being threatened. Can you do something about it? And it was just sort of, it was very funny where I was like, that's why this never would have worked, is because everyone was like, yeah, that's what we want. We want that to be happening.
They never could get past the alignments being so fucked up, because, like, the whole, like, the Elite against Punk thing, but the Elite are heels and they're bad for AEW is just, like, never gonna work. And then they just kind of backed off and have done this, like, weird half-hearted version of it for, like, a long time now. And it's like,
well, it's not so much half-hearted as, like, neutered, you know, where it's just like they just keep like, they're ineffectual. Whereas, like, but it was interesting to me that, like, Daniel Garcia seemed to be appealing to, like, them as people, like, not, you know what I mean? Like, he was like, I know you want what's best for AEW. And, like, I think that I want what you want. So you should be mad about Mox. And Matt and Nick were looking at him like, oh, but, like, Mox might hurt us. And that's not cool, you know?
And it actually would be really cool. I would love to see it. I'd love to watch Mox hurt them.
Yeah, if the Bucks did hit... It was interesting because I think somebody in one of our group chats was speculating about whether the Bucks could go face on this. And they kind of could. I don't know what that would do for JB, so it's, like, kind of interesting. But it is, like, the Bucks could very much be like, wait a minute, like... No, like, Tony sucks ass, but we're not destroying the company. Mox isn't allowed to declare war on the company. Like, we were fighting for our vision, but if it comes to the company versus the company not existing, of course we're team AEW.
Right. It could be like a really sexy come to Jesus moment of being like, what has been going on here for this past year? I don't know. It's all quite complicated because it's like, I do really understand why the Elite had to come back as heels, because it's like they just, like, didn't really know what the response was going to be. And now I'm like, am I losing years? When has all of this happened? What is happening? Whatever.
Punk was fired a year ago.
Yes.
At All In.
What went wrong is that I remembered when they came back from the first incident, but then the next incident didn't happen until the next year.
That's right.
Look, whatever. But yes, it always was confused about, like, who is good and who is bad here. And this is, like, playing with some of the same story stuff, but it does make much more sense, except that I don't, like, really understand what Mox
I don't understand what
mad
Mox
at, but I don't really care.
No.
I like it.
Yeah, I'd love to know what Mox wants specifically, but I am loving it. And it is just, like, trying to do, like, a work shoot thing with the Bucks. Like, it just didn't work as well as just doing, like, a pure kayfabe Mox thing, I think. It's like, let's just do, like, a fictional storyline. Because it's like, I don't believe, like, Mox the person wants bad things for AEW any more than I believe the Bucks do. But it's like, since it's so divorced from anything work shoot, it's like, I can just, like, buy that Mox is a maniac right now, you know, and it works.
Yeah. Although I'm happy for all that we got out of those initial months.
It was fun for a while there. Yeah, it had a lot of promise before they kind of pulled back on it.
Who knows what happened in there? Anyway, so we did get this on-screen moment with the Bucks left, and then Daniel Garcia is there with Private Party, and he's basically was being like, it's about to get pretty rough out there, boys. Like, but if you've got your back, like, if you've got my back, I've got yours. It was very, like, I don't know, it was so funny, where it was like, gangs are going to be roaming the streets, and if we don't join up, and I was like, you guys have been joined up. You're best friends. I'm well aware. But I guess they hadn't been on TV. I somehow hadn't even really appreciated that.
Yeah, it is funny that they've been friends so long offline, but a Private Party and Daniel Garcia have never crossed on TV, I don't think. So that is cool.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Now we need to get the lads into a faction.
Yeah. Okay, and then finally that the Conglomeration Elite murder melee spilled backstage, and we got another backstage segment where they're all still brawling, and Marina is like murdering men straight up. It's so delightful to watch. And then Claudio turned on his pickup truck, pulled up in his pickup truck, and Mox and Marina and Yuta all leapt into the back of the pickup truck, and then they peeled out of the parking lot. Hot.
This whole pickup truck thing was like really working for me. They did this pre-tape at the beginning too from the back of the pickup truck, which was great. And maybe it's just because I'm from Kentucky. It's like so hardcore redneck, but it's weirdly sexy.
You know, I loved seeing them in the back of that pickup truck. And when I see pickup trucks in my daily life, I hate them. Yeah. And I'm really rude. Like, I'll like say to a pickup truck, like, you're evil. Yeah. But
because you know they're not picking anything up. They're just driving a car a truck that's too big for parking spaces. They're just taking up two fucking
spots for no reason. It's whatever. But
getting 2 miles to the gallon, whatever.
But when I saw on TV Mox leap lively into the back of the pickup truck, yeah, of course I was into that. Of course that was sexy. That's what a pickup truck is for. It's for being a prop on a wrestling show.
Yeah. And for having 3 other wrestlers in the back. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I'm into all of this. I don't think that I've done my smartest talking about it in my 6th state. But I like watching it. I'm finding it very entertaining, and it's bringing me to life.
Absolutely. I mean, Anne's right that, like, the fact that they're not trying to tie it to reality gives you the permission to enjoy it for what it is. Whereas, like, because the Bucks did try to tie it in some ways to reality, we kept trying to make sense of it, which it's like, no, it doesn't make sense. Wrestling is stupid. It's all fake.
Yeah. They were just having to navigate too much stuff. Like, they were still navigating the real world fallout at the same time, which was a real complicating factor. But it's so pleasant to be like, there's no complicating factor here. No. There's no, like, personalities that we're trying to deal with or, like, stories that we're trying to respond to or stave off. Like, it feels really nice to have left that behind.
Yeah.
And then to get a second run at something that was kind of happening with the EVP storyline and then didn't really ever pan out, where it's like lots of people are involved here. We saw every little baby face that we have watched grow up, like, make an appearance in this storyline. And yes, there were moments where it was like, oh God, why is this person running out? But then at this point, it's like, oh, because they're all involved in the storyline. That's fun. It's fun for this to be something that's going to, like, touch a lot of, it's going to be multiple storylines that are converging.
I always like when the show feels like it's like everybody's in the same universe, you know, like times where storylines are allowed to touch each other, people are allowed to acknowledge each other, and it's not just like 6 completely siloed off storylines. Like I do like that.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. And it's super fun to have, like, OC and Daniel Garcia clearly being set up to, like, take a run at Mox, you know, and OC, you know, spurred on by Jerry Lynn and Hook naturally, and, you know,
how could he fail to succeed with that pep talk from Jerry Lynn at his back? I think he'll be okay.
But it does open up a lot of little emotional you know, stuff for not Jerry Lynn, but like with Yuta and all the Jerry Lynn. I assume is not going to be
finally Jerry Lynn on screen. This is my time.
I hope Jerry Lynn is as involved as Jeff Jarrett was.
Yeah, just constantly coming out to be like, oh, see, it doesn't seem like you care about this, and then we get Eddie to, like, you know, give a promo from his sickbed to also be like, oh, see, you don't seem like you care.
No, I straight up want a match where Jerry Lynn whips the shit out of Yuta.
Oh my God. This is all good. The one thing that I don't even know if this is worth talking about because I don't even know what I want to say. It's so crazy to me that Bryan Danielson is like what is he? He's like retired. He is like...
Except no one believes it, and no one has ever believed it even for a second. Like, we're like, we don't even know if we'll see him less. Like, retired from full-time wrestling, but we don't see him, like, every week now. So, like, if we see him on 6 pay-per-views next year, that's about the same.
It's kind of funny because, like... I think obviously different people need to wind down and retire from their careers in different ways. But for me, I'm like, oh, when we saw Sting retire, that was so amazing and satisfying and such a clear, like Sting was like, it is a real retirement. You will see Sting sometimes not wrestling after this. And that was so good for me in my mind. Yeah. I was like, wow, I love knowing that I saw Sting's last match, and now and now I see him sometimes at pay-per-view and he saves his little boy Darby. That's great. The Danielson thing has been so weird for me, where it like there is Excalibur's crying, there is like a call for me to have an emotional reaction like I guess the ROH boys did, and I'm just like, well, I never thought he was retiring, and maybe he is, but maybe he's not. And this wasn't really a high note to go out on, in a way.
It's literally like, I can't get emotional about this retirement because it's just like I watch like someone get injured and I don't know if they're coming back, but maybe they are, but probably they are, but maybe not. Like Luchasaurus got pneumonia, like we might have seen him retire. It's upsetting. I hope he's okay. But like, I mean, it seems like it's more doubtful that he'll come back than Danielson,
Yeah.
So.
I don't know.
Does put you in a weird emotional place.
I think I did have a weird feeling of like, I wonder what Tony Khan wanted me to feel now.
Yeah.
I am often
wondering that.
Yeah. Like, it's like, does he want me to feel like, wow, what a beautiful goodbye to Bryan Danielson? Or does he want me to be like, I can't wait for Bryan Danielson to come back at another pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't even know. Maybe this is an issue that he probably has to discuss with his own therapist as well, because of his emotional attachment to Bryan Danielson. It's hard to tell other people how to feel when you don't know how to feel.
Wow, so true.
All right. Well, let's talk about Adam Cole. Adam Cole returned during WrestleDream. Oh, God. Okay, so Jack Perry and Shibata had their match at WrestleDream. And Jack won, and then he kept attacking Shibata afterwards, beating him up. So Danny Garcia ran out to save Shibata. And then MJF's music hit. This is a classic clown car. MJF's music hit, so he came out, and Garcia was like, get in this ring, because I'm still so mad at you. And MJF did get in the ring, and then JB hit Danny Garcia, and then MJF kept hitting Danny Garcia. So then Adam Cole's music hit, and then he came out, and MJF ran away. So then on Dynamite this week, Adam Cole cut a promo, not quite opening the show, but pretty much opening the show, just explaining why he is a good guy, actually, and MJF has been a bad guy this whole time. And then MJF responded in a video screen message. And I don't remember what he said at all. And that was the end of that segment.
So MJF said, well, they are both trying to take the same argument, which is funny and has like moments where I'm like, that's an interesting thing to try to do, but I'm sure it'll annoy me later. Where Adam Cole was like, what is evil? Sometimes when someone's a bad guy, you got to fight bad guys.
Sometimes you have to fight evil with evil. Like, oh, okay, Adam Cole.
Sometimes, hey, didn't we all love punching Nazis? Come on. You're mad at me? Don't be mad at me. And then MJF came on the screen and was like, you broke me, you hurt me, I'll never trust again, I'll never love anyone again, and everything's ruined forever. Goodbye.
Yes. Okay, I see here. The man I am today isn't my fault. It's yours. Now that is a therapist would not let you say that.
No.
Okay? Yes. You'll die with a void of unfulfilled vengeance. And for that empty, sad, cold little life, you can thank me later. So, go.
Sorry. Ultimately, I never would have allowed them to interact this year. It's October. I wouldn't have let them interact in 2025. I maybe would have come back to this in 2026 and it would have been fun, but I would not have done it. However, if for some reason WBD is being like, hey, the deal. It actually hinges
These
on
muchachos
letting
money.
these people, yeah.
You know that
have
David
to put them
Zaslav is deeply invested in the
Yeah.
muchachos.
So if you have that stricture where you're like, you have to put them together again, I don't know how you get through this. Like, the tack that they're trying that, like, aren't we all a little evil sometimes? It's like, I'm like, could I think of anything that much better? No. But I also wouldn't have Adam Cole come out with the faces in other segments. I'll tell you that for free.
Well, yeah, because I'm like, if you're going to present the argument of, like, we all are a little evil sometimes, if Adam Cole is presenting that argument, it's like, yeah, Adam Cole, you are a little evil sometimes because you're evil. Because you're a rat fuck.
Yeah.
You have
It's like you can't trust anything he's saying. Like, as he's saying this, and I think you maybe said this too, like, the crowd didn't seem to know if they should be believing him or not. Because, like, of course you shouldn't.
Yeah, right. I thought the crowd was so interesting because they weren't rejecting it. It's not like they were chanting over him. Like, we've seen it when they've got restive and not into it. It wasn't that they were not into it. They were listening, but they weren't cheering at obvious cheer lines, and they were just sort of like, what's going on here?
Yeah, what's happening? It really is crazy that they put them together again, because, like, I feel like we were so much more tolerant of the brochachos than, like, everybody else was. Like, I was into it for most of it. Yeah, I really liked it. But, like, it got so bad towards the end that now, like, MJF has to climb out of a hole for me, and Adam Cole too. Like, whenever I see either of them, I'm like, oh God, this shit again. And then when they're interacting with each other, it's like, are you serious? Like, we got to change something up. We got to, like, change your guys' presentations. And, like, MJF has done this heel turn, so, like, now we've got to turn Adam Cole face because we're, for some reason, going back to this well. It just seems bananas to me.
I think it also just seems so strange because it's like, you guys need, I don't know how to put this, like, you need to exist in the greater context of AEW, I think, for both of your characters' sakes. Like, you can't live in the little MJF Adam Cole universe where the only stuff that is relevant is, like, what you've done or said to each other. Like, your characters need to be enriched. They are too they don't have the nutritional elements that they need to survive.
Yeah.
So
and actually that
you're
would
not going to get anything from just feeding each other.
Yeah, that would be kind of interesting, too, with all this mock stuff going on. Like, if Adam Cole came back and kind of, like, acknowledged that he had been bad, but it's like, oh, but, like, what Mox is doing is wrong. I'm, like, against that. And, like, he could kind of turn that way and, like, maybe do some of the other... I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if he should immediately babyface turn when the last time we saw him was the devil stuff. But
I mean, he's a heel. He is a heel.
Yeah,
we didn't even get to see him as a heel.
The thing is that he already did this to us once, right? Like, he beat the shit out of the Bucks. He, like, turned on the Bucks and beat their asses, and then disappeared. And then came back after 9 months or whatever and was like, I'm a face and I've always been a face and I don't have to apologize for anything and I'm just inherently a face and I am protecting everybody from Chris Jericho. And it's like, I don't understand what we're doing here. So
in a big in-ring segment that I hated at the time,
I wish that it was a required part of promos that you had to be like, what is my motivation for, like, anything that I do? Because I don't like, I just, like, Adam Cole is, like, the definition of no matter where you go, there you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they can try to make him a face, but he's always going to be a rat face, like, jerk, sleazebag wearing a face mask, you know? Face.
Right, so play with...
I just invented that.
But it's like, so play with that. Like, I don't...
Yeah.
It's... I don't know. It's so... I just don't really understand... Well, I understand that that Adam Cole, with his concussions and his broken ankle and stuff, has been in a difficult position of, like, he's around, he's doing stuff, and then he goes away for a long time, and then when he comes back, it seems like they're like, well, people are probably going to pop for that, so we'll face turn you, and so you'll be a face when you come back. But it's like, we're just not doing any storytelling here. We're just, like, always retconning stuff, and it's not... I don't know what they should do. I don't know what they should do with these two. Yeah. I agree that I just, like, wouldn't have let them at each other right away. But if you are letting them at each other, like, I think you need to figure out, like, what, I don't know, is this going to impact other storylines in an interesting way? Are you going to use it as some kind of, like, trigger for some other big happening? Like, I can't imagine that it's just going to be a fairly straightforward MJF Adam Cole feud, because we can't really be doing that. I don't think we can be doing that.
No, and one of our friends pointed out, too, that Adam Cole hadn't changed up his presentation, like, even a little bit coming back, which I hadn't really thought about, but I was like, oh, yeah, like, when Hangman came back, like, different theme song, different lighting, different, like, all this stuff, and, like, obviously he had, like, a much more coherent storyline, but it was like, oh, in terms of, like, my exhaustion and irritation with MJF and Adam Cole, it would actually really help if they, like, were like, okay, I'm going to be, like, really different this time. Like, you're going to see a different character out of me. It's like, I would be like, okay, I can give you a chance and see what this new thing is.
Grow a damn mustache, Adam Cole.
Exactly. We could see if it helps, you know? It's worth a shot.
It was really startling to hear someone be like, he just hasn't changed his gimmick in 9 years, and think about all the wrestlers we know now. And, like, we do know wrestlers whose gimmicks haven't changed very much, or who have evolved fairly organically. Like, OC is a good example of, like, the gimmick hasn't changed, but the character has changed to a certain extent. But we also know it's like people like the Bucks, where it's like there are certain, like, consistent elements of the characters, but then they magnify them really extremely in different moments, and you can point to, like, this was that era of the Bucks, this was that era of the Bucks. And that is, like, a fun thing about wrestling, that it's, like, weird to be like, oh, Adam Cole, you don't really have, like, you have the boom, baby, I understand. But you don't have, like, an OC-like gimmick where it's, like, really clear, like, oh, this is who this person is.
Right.
And this is,
he's kind of just a guy. Yeah.
It's guy.
Not really a gimmick. Yeah.
He doesn't really have, like, Taylor Swift eras.
Right.
No, he doesn't have his eras. So it's kind of like, well, maybe, I don't know, just maybe play with an era. Let's put an era on, and let's just see how it feels.
Try out kind of a big character. You could be a Painmaker. You could be a Lionheart, you know? There's all kinds of things in the world.
I would love to say, Adam Cole, have you considered, like, a weird, creepy juggalo? Like,
I thought you were going to say, I would love to say, Adam Cole, have you considered sitting under the learning tree?
Listen, I think he could. That would be the funniest thing for his first comeback to be against Jericho, and his second comeback to be like, no, I'm here to learn.
I don't know. How do you solve a problem like Adam Cole? It's like, he's just such a sweet guy, but
it sucks rough. Because I like him. I like him as a person and often as a wrestler, but, like, I just would do it differently. I would just do things differently. I think I wouldn't do what he's doing.
Yeah. And then, too, like, just the fact that he and MJF are always getting these, like, long in-ring segments up front, it just makes me, like, resentful when it's like Jamie Hayter came back to, like, almost nothing, you know, and it's just like, oh, and now we have to listen to, like, a 10-minute monologue that makes no sense. Like, cool.
Yeah. It wasn't my favorite, but, you know, we'll just see what happens for the next 3 weeks until we clock out.
Then we'll come back and maybe Adam Cole will be different then, you know?
No, this is how we should start ending these segments. And I'm sure they'll fix that while we're gone.
What gimmick are we going to do for our big retirement match in November?
Oh, my God. When we come back, who are we going to be?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I don't know. I hope I'm a really relaxed girl who isn't sick.
Oh, my God.
That's probably my big wish, is that I'm really relaxed
for the
and
stars.
I'm tan.
Maybe I'll get an accent.
Okay, how?
Like Scottish or something, you know?
Oh, Scottish, wow.
You're going to do a kind of a course, or you're going to just watch it?
Do a course. Yeah, take one of those classic accent courses.
Well, they happen for actors, I'm sure, and I'm sure there's a master class.
That is true. You're right. I'm wrong.
Thank you. You so take a course, Leah.
Sign up for a learning extension.
That's what I'll do with my No Talk November.
No Talk November. I didn't realize that no tunnel talk.
Yeah.
But I bet we'll hear other things from you.
If I had hear other things.
Okay. Ospreay, Ricochet, and Takeshita had their WrestleDream match, and Don Callis came out in the middle of the match to try and screwdriver Ospreay, and then he handed the screwdriver to Kyle Fletcher, and Kyle killed Ospreay, and then Takeshita won the match, and then Kyle Tiger Drivered Ospreay. So mean.
It was so mean.
It was so mean. And it really got me because I don't know why it hadn't occurred to me that at this stage in the proceedings, Kyle would like double down on Don Callis. I was just like, I think Ospreay's really getting through to him at these sleepovers and they're going to figure it out.
They were doing such good,
was quite emotional.
Such good sad boy acting. Like, I thought he really did want to be Ospreay's friend.
I know, and I felt heartbroken and was shouting like, Kyle, no, at the screen.
I truly was betrayed.
Yes.
He got me big time. I was betrayed.
So then on Dynamite, we had a Callis family segment where Takeshita came out with his new international title, looking like a cool boy. Kyle came out looking, I think it was Not That Tom Green on Twitter, who said that Kyle looks like women are my favorite guy, sex. I'm wanting more. Tell the world, stop the war.
So dead on. That's exactly what he looked like. So great funny. Tweet.
Oh my God. Just with these little glasses. Oh. And Don Callis cut an in-ring promo where he was basically like, I'm so proud of all my little murder sons. And his murder sons now, to be clear, are Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, Lance Archer, who he just traded with his lover Jake the Snake for.
And I guess once he took custody, he like unbraided Lance Archer's hair and got him all wet and put him in dark clothes.
When you get a new doll on Facebook Marketplace and you really make it your own.
Borderline was like, is he allowed to do that?
Well, he did look so bedraggled, kind of like.
He did, yeah. And he was wearing all black clothes, and like usually I guess he wears white clothes, but I saw a tweet with the two pictures side by side, and they were like, I usually put my murder hawk in dark mode. Which I thought was very funny as well.
Oh, man. And then, has Brian Cage been in this faction this whole time?
Yeah.
I think he has, but he hasn't been doing very much. Yeah, I think he and Trent were kind of...
Fuck. I thought he was in a totally different faction with...
He was with the Gates of Agony, but I
think... What happened to them? Do they still go here?
I think they got absorbed into the Callis family, didn't they?
Oh, it was a merger and acquisitions. Okay, very well. Well, anyway, Brian Cage was there as well, which is really exciting.
We'd love to see him.
Yeah, and Doug Callis introduced him, and then he just like popped his titties really dramatically while his face looked really bored. I was like, Brian Cage, you're the love of my life. That was incredible.
What is there any better feel-good story of 2024 than our complete turnaround on Brian Cage? And
he didn't even do anything. He gave like one promo that was kind of funny one time 10 months ago.
We just want to see people try once. That's it.
The goodwill will carry you. Yeah,
it's so easy to get us.
I love him now. Oh God. Oh my God. Okay. So Don Callis, I love all my little boys. And then Kyle is like, hey, I guess you're all wondering why I betrayed Will Ospreay. Well, you'll never know. And I loved that too. I said, okay, that's great. And, okay, wait. So let's say anything else you want to say about that before we get to this last part?
I like that Don Callis he had a little podium with a little microphone to talk into, and he, disparage wrestling journalists, as Mariah May would do later, which Dave Meltzer was at the show in person, so that's especially delightful.
He needs a little disparaging.
Needs to know it.
No matter how mentally healthy he is.
Have you guys been taking your vitamin Daves?
I sure
God,
have.
I haven't taken a single one. I have to get some.
Yeah.
Do you think, are they working, Leah?
Well, you guys have been around me lately, so probably not.
I've been a little concerned about you this week. Yeah.
We've all been concerned about each other.
Lee was just like not around a lot in a way where I was like, hope things are going okay over there, buddy.
Yeah. Leah, so we wanna see you flaunting your Dave a little more.
It takes a while for your levels to get
That's
up,
right. The Dave's got to build up in my body.
Let those days build up, yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna want a terminal velocity of Dave in there for sure, and then you'll be rocketed. I don't know what I'm saying.
the heights of mental health.
To the heights of mental health. That's exactly it. Lee, I think I thought you had something to say about Kyle and Ospreay doing their sweet boy acting.
Not anything like that smart. just that like this was such like a simple little story, and they had so much fun like telling it, and I'm glad that they got to tell it because I think it was good for both Kyle and Ospreay to stretch their little muscles. And I think people sometimes are so mean to them, and I'm like, they did a great job. When my first graders put on their musical, I applaud. I don't say, well, this isn't Broadway. What's that supposed to be?
No, it's not Broadway. It's Going Buggy. Okay? So it's Going Buggy. It's a little musical about bugs singing songs. And they did amazing at it. Okay? They played ladybugs. And they had a very fun number.
Wow, I'd love to see them as ladybugs. Do you guys think that for the Halloween Fright Night show that people are going to dress up?
If they don't, I'm going to riot. I need a fun Halloween episode. Do I not deserve something fucking fun?
No.
And spooky? And scary? I hope they do. I hope we get a lot of costumes. I thought they did, honestly. I think they've been doing a good job this whole time. I really like them.
I know.
I like Kyle Fletcher. I like Will Ospreay. I think they're doing a pretty good job. Okay?
Your guys' defensive tones in both those rants is so funny because you're like, I think it's nice to see people try, okay?
Well, that is kind of how I feel. I think I have found it a little, like, difficult to access unhappinesses with any of what Ospreay has been getting up to because I'm like, he showed up pretty game. He said, I'm going to try to tell stories. They're not all going to work. I'm going to do my acting, and I'm going to do my big, crazy wrestling moves. And I knew I would like his big, crazy wrestling moves, so I'm pleased that I mostly like the other stuff he does, too.
Yeah, it's crazy, because it's like so many people come into this company, and they don't try that hard.
They don't know
Will
shit.
Ospreay, when he shows up, true. He's trying. He puts his whole pussy into it.
Yes, his whole os pussy.
Can I call the episode that? Do you think I get like arrested?
By whom?
Just mark it explicit. Apple Podcasts will let it on there.
Okay,
and stare meaningfully at everybody who showed up and hasn't tried Samoa Joe.
Oh my God. And then we're getting gaslit by people all the time who are like,
all the time.
"Oh, Samoa Joe is so good. I'd love to see this feud with Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe's really like putting in the work." It's like, I don't know shit about that man. He gave one interesting promo, and he hasn't done anything the rest of the time, even as I've been screaming, like, please engage with your competitors. And he's just like, I won't. But I have a nice suit. That's not enough.
People straight up lie, and they're like, his reign was one of the most important ones. And I'm like, shut up.
Aren't people giving us strange information from other companies? They're like, Samoa Joe, amazing. His promo's amazing. And then they're like, Ricochet, really bad at talking. And then he talks and it's like, well, he and Samoa Joe, frankly, seem on the same level to me. So what are we doing
seems like
here?
He's trying harder than Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe, I do understand that it's like he has a natural cadence. Certainly. Like, he is very good at talking, but he never said anything that suggested that he was interested in telling a story. Now, Ricochet hasn't said anything that's like super great storytelling, but they set us up to think that the man wouldn't be able to get a word out. And actually, he did the funniest thing we've ever seen this week, and now we love him forever, and he's our child. Does one of you want to say what he did?
You know, with my match with Ospreay. It was the greatest thing that's ever happened to me, and now the man can do no wrong.
Ospreay. I don't know.
I love Ospreay.
I don't know if he meant to do it. I don't know if it was an accident.
Did you guys watch his Hey EW also? He just like giggled through the whole thing. It was very like, oh, Ricochet, you're like not funny at all, but you're a really game laugher. I love it.
God, that's so important
precious.
In any workplace ecosystem.
So true, yeah.
So yes, Ricochet did have a little backstage promo, which he didn't really say much of anything at all. He basically was just like, Takeshita didn't beat me. He beat Will Ospreay. and I want to be champion, and I'll fight someone on Collision. That was it. But he did say, Ospreay.
That's all you needed.
Really?
That was his Brian Cage moment where I was like, yeah. Of course, now I'll die for him.
Poor Brian Cage is like, I had to fucking labor for 4 years to get this, my Brian Cage moment, and Ricochet shows up, he has one in a month. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to tell you.
Oh my God.
Do you think that this is like with Kyle betraying Ospreay? That like this is gonna drive him towards like Ricochet, like as like kind of a tag team, or not even fully tag team.
Ospreay and Ricochet could be like a thing.
Yeah, wow. That's what I was wondering. I was like,
oh my
could
God,
it drive them together?
I'd be interested. I was actually very impressed with Ospreay in this match, this 3-way match. I was like, every time I looked up, he was doing great flips. I'd love to see him and Ospreay flip together.
Does Ospreay have any other friends?
No.
Or was Kyle his only friend?
I know what you meant, but it came out so mean. Does he even have any other friends?
But he doesn't have any other.
No, because he came in semi-affiliated with Don Callis, and so I don't think he's really branched out from there.
Well, I'll once again advocate for the storyline that no one has yet done for us, where someone with no friends just joins a different faction every week and has a little bit of an "Are you my mother?" energy.
See, they should be doing that with OC instead of like conglomerating him permanently. Ridiculous.
I'm worried. Manolo keeps like not posting in his recaps. He'll be like, here's what I'm keeping my eye on. I think that Kyle and OC could take a run at the tag team belts. And I'm like, could they? I don't see that for them.
No.
I need one of them to murder the other. I'm going to need to see a little more murder in the conglomeration. It's time for someone to die.
Yeah.
Do you think that Kyle and Adam Cole will hook up again?
Well, that's the question, because like if Adam Cole is a face, then like is Kyle not gonna do cannibalism?
A face.
Right.
But if those faces got together, you would just be like, yeah, for 5 minutes until you just you're gonna run each other into evil again so fast, which would be fun.
If Adam Cole had come back as a heel, I would have been like, oh, so Kyle is gonna cannibalize OC and then join Adam Cole, but I just don't know now, because everything's all fucked up by stupid Adam Cole's whole thing.
And should they? I'm not even necessarily advocating for a return to Kyle and Adam Cole.
But I'd love to watch them cannibalize together. I'd be more interested.
I was gonna be like, and what? They gonna dance with the memory of Bobby Fish? We can't go back there.
What if they just got like a card Bobby, like card Blade, but the real Bobby doesn't go here, and they just talk to him? They're just like this, and this is of course our third member.
That'd be so mean, because Bobby Fish is so available and would come back in a second. Like Card Blade was injured. Like Bobby Fish is like, please, you can have the real version. And they're like, no, this is fine.
No, we don't want it.
Well, shouldn't have done contract tampering, Bobby Cole.
I forgot that Bobby Fish was a person, and now I'm just like seeing that picture of him in the like empty arena again.
Yeah. Bet you thought you'd seen the last of me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Bobby Fish. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for, it seemed like it was kind of your behavior a little bit.
Yeah.
You did seem badly behaved.
You did. We were badly behaved, and for what? For Triple H?
For nothing.
I don't know.
And he didn't take you back, and that was really embarrassing.
That's so embarrassing.
That's really
God. That's humiliating. But also so predictable. Like, it's like you've never watched like a movie where like a powerful man is using someone. Like you weren't prepared for that eventuality. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. Hangman and Jay White had their match at WrestleDream, and I think it was totally fine. But I don't remember any of it.
C's get degrees.
It was weirdly unmemorable. It was a total C's get degrees match. Like, I liked them, but...
just don't know what happened. But Jay White did win. And then on Dynamite this week, he fought Christian Cage. Can anyone tell me why that match got booked? Was there an in-universe explanation? Or
So Jay White's whole thing when he did his little promo was like, there are two men who have ruined my life. Yeah. One of them is Hangman, and the other one I'm coming for next. Christian was the other man? Is that what ended up happening? Was Christian number...
Maybe. What show did this happen on? Where did he say this?
Well, I watched it, so it had to have been Dynamite. I think it was the Dynamite
this
before.
Week?
No, it was the Dynamite before Wrestledream.
Before Wrestle, he said, "I'm going to fight Hangman."
It's when he said there were two men who were between him and the belts.
and Zoom gave us some balloons for that. I'm really sorry to Jay White. I guess I wasn't listening.
I just don't know. This is what's going wrong with this feud is that I'm not really sure. I think Jay White and Hangman have fought a shit ton of times, and they could have done some sexy stuff with that.
Well, I was flabbergasted when I realized that this was their third match at AEW. I would have confidently said they hadn't touched each other at AEW, so I was wrong about that. But they must have been they were both trying to get that match against Danielson at All In.
Yes.
So they fought in that. And I think that's the match where Christian interfered to help Hangman, but I don't know why. This it did happen because I saw the pictures.
One where Christian
he's
won
lying down.
The Money in the Bank thing that he's been carrying around?
No, this was in the... No. You know,
I really wish I could Zoom bomb Sarah and just add her to the scene really quick.
What I think I'm recalling is that, and this was way back before Tony Khan bought ROH. No, it was in spring of this year. Was that we had a little tournament to see who would get to challenge Swerve at All In. And Hangman was in that tournament, and Jeff Jarrett was in that tournament, and Jay White, was in that tournament. Is that right?
Yes.
And that at some point, Christian Cage was lying down like he was in his little grave by the ring, and he did something to Jay White's detriment or to Hangman's detriment.
No, to Jay White's. I looked it up on Cage Match, and I'm very impressed because, the first comment I see says, quote, "a very snug Hangman." So that's delightful.
Oh my God. Wow, it's real.
Yeah, but you're right. Christian Cage interfered to help Hangman win.
All right. Okay. And
well,
we don't know why. We don't know why.
No, it was in July.
Did Hangman do something to help? Was it a tit for tat? Was it the gravy song that I like to sing?
Wait a minute.
If you want my gravy, pepper my ragu.
Hold on a minute. If I got called out last week for knowing something about Jake the Snake,
it is creepy that Allie could narrate all this.
That Allie remembered something from July?
No, you can't call it out because the only reason this is in my mind is that I saw on Tumblr.com a comparison of Christian Cage lying there so sweet and Hangman lying there so sweet. And then I had to rack my brain, but not look anything up, to be like, and why did that happen?
I saw the picture as well, and I said, wow, it's fun that they found that. And asked no further questions.
I also did not investigate
No one informed me. I wasn't in any space where someone taught me this special knowledge, okay? I just milked the stone of my mind until it dripped out.
Wow. That's
into
beautiful.
The cup of my life.
I can't believe you wrung some facts out of there. Some drizzly white facts.
God in heaven. Take it to the milk pump, Anne. All right. Well, and then what are we saying about any of this? We don't know why Christian was mad at Jay.
Yeah, well, we were trying to figure out, why this match was boring, and it's just sort of I think that they probably could have had cooler motivations for any of this, but I'm not really sure why Hangman's that mad at Jay White, and I think that they could have come up with something good, because Hangman loves coming up with reasons you should be sexually into something.
Yeah, and it is it was just a really short build, and you didn't really hear from Hangman in it, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's pause this for a second and then explain that. So then on Dynamite this week, Jay White fights Christian Cage, and Hangman interferes so that Christian Cage gets the win. And he looks so funny doing it. And I didn't really understand that somebody missed a cue, I guess, but I didn't really understand when or how.
It was so funny. It was just like they ran out too soon. So Hangman like kind of like jumped up on the ring like as though he was going to buckshot him, and then he was like, oh no, and like went back down, but the camera had already caught him. So then I guess they just had to show him like hiding behind the ring, like lying flat on his back, like
So
don't look
fun.
at me. It was so funny. Honestly, it was like incredibly delightful. Like I wish they were doing that more.
On purpose, yeah.
On purpose.
So, okay, so then Christian wins, and Kip Sabian is also involved as some kind of a distraction, a sexy distraction in the crowd. And so that now Christian has won that match. And, so what? So now what is happening? You know, is Hangman still in a feud
like
with
your energy of like, so what conclusions can we draw from that? Like, I don't know, man.
I'm like a teacher who's completely lost the plot of her lesson. I'm like, so what else is about that? Does anyone know? Like, are they, and what's Christian up to? And as I've written here, does Hook have something to do with all of this? Because I thought I recalled. So I know that someone attacked Taz. It's fake. It's just TV.
Yeah, it wasn't even on screen either,
Whoa.
which I do think is pretty funny.
Whoa, Allie, since when is wrestling fake?
I don't know. I'm just spitballing new ideas here. Someone attacked Taz in the parking lot, and Hook has been really angry about it. And he's been like, when I find out who fucked up my dad, I'm going to really not like that. I'm going to really not like that. And for some reason, in the old noggin, I am wondering if Kip Sabian somehow was involved in that. Maybe. Or Christian was. Maybe. And I guess I'm wondering if Hook will be involved here, or whether
That's like Christian has escalated from making fun of dead dads to creating dead dads.
You got it. You have to keep pushing the bar in this life. I think there's not a super strong through line in this feud right now, and I understand whatever's going on with Christian obviously has been impacted by poor Luchasaurus. Legitimately all of our best to him and his family. So there might be some pivoting involved, but I wouldn't say that I understand what anybody wants right now. I don't think I know what anyone wants.
No. Kind of Jay White, I guess.
What do you think he wants?
He wants the belt, and he wants to destroy the two people who kept him from the belt. So
yes. Well, I personally, if I were a wrestler, I would get the belt and then deal with people who didn't want me to have it.
It does seem more direct.
On the belt first.
Yeah.
It's just me, though. Well, any other thoughts about this?
It does feel very confused. And maybe now Jay and Hangman are just going to go their separate ways and do their separate things, which I guess is fine.
I guess.
Well, I'm like, it's fine, but also like, I feel like they're capable of really getting me going. And so I'm like, if you all want to take another run at it, I'm at my leisure.
Yeah. But I guess, yeah, I haven't gotten a very clear indication that they do want to.
No,
but I'd love
I don't.
to get any kind of indication. Or it's like, again, let's pop him into the BCC sitch. Let's mix him into the little baby face Malay and, have some rich discussions about, like, no matter how mad you are, Hangman, like, do you want this company to burn down? And I don't know, or Jay White could, I don't know, kiss someone. These are just ideas. That's all I got.
AEW hires us, and all our pitches are like that. They're like, again.
What is it's like in Arrested Development? It's called Single City. It's called Fuck City.
That's exactly.
But again, you can contact us at tumbletalkpod@gmail.com, and we are available for hire. Okay.
Imagine if we did get hired to work in wrestling. That'd be a real left turn for my life to take. But,
God,
I wouldn't say no, probably.
The way Pepperman would be like, thank God someone else is a boogeyman.
And we'd be great targets for anyone who hates Tumblr, Twitter, I'll tell you.
Actually, if you just want a little lightning rod.
Take some heat away from Pepperman, yeah.
We'd just be on Twitter all the time being like, and this storyline we came up with is actually based on a Georgette Heyer novel.
Oh my God, they'd be so mad.
They would not like it. It would not go over well.
Like, we really watched the works of Nora Ephron to come up with this one, the fury that men would reach.
Don't you think there is a place for kind of a you've got mail scenario in wrestling?
Yeah.
Why aren't wrestlers ever having mistaken identities and
if
put
a wrestler
someone in a mask and then they're talking in the mask but then using a different accent? Maybe they learned from one of Leah's courses.
Wow. Yeah, I'd love to see a wrestler catfish another wrestler. I do think that's sort of unexplored space.
I guess
that's what hologram should be doing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, that should be a man. I know it's not, but I'm like, that should be a man that we know very well who one day is just like, it was me this whole time.
Yeah, it's like when Johnny TV came out as Johnny Elite, and I, for a second, thought it was going to be John Silver. And then it was pretty disappointing.
Okay. Mariah and Willow had a perfectly good match at WrestleDream, and then on Dynamite, Mariah cut a promo calling everyone in the women's division cowards because they won't step up to fight her, and then she screamed, "What does Christopher Daniels even do here?" Which I loved because it is exactly what you would scream at a vice principal. He's not even a principal.
Yeah, no one knows what he does. Just annoys everyone.
What is he for?
It was very like, you're not even my real dad energy.
And then
You're just my mom's boyfriend. You're not even my stepfather.
I'll never call you dad. Christopher Daniels, migraine, rubbing his temples. He's like, I have never asked you to call me dad. I have never asked anyone here to call me dad. This is my place of employment. This is my job. And I guess, and he was there, and then Anna Jay interrupted and tried to hit Mariah, but instead she accidentally clocked Vice Principal Daniels, and she had the most charming response to it, where she like wanted to race after Mariah and then kind of like spun around and was like, sorry. Which again is probably what would happen if you accidentally punched your vice principal. So she's the love of my life. Anna Jay, I'm obsessed with you. She's gonna fight Mariah on Battle of the.
Yeah.
We can't.
No, there's a fucking Battle of the Belts.
Didn't we just have him last week? No, it was Title Tuesday.
It was Title Tuesday, yeah.
For God's
fake
sake.
event.
I think they're going away in the new deal.
Yeah, thank God.
Good.
You know what my favorite thing about this, though, is that I don't think it's for the belt. I think it's a title eliminator. So Battle of the Belts, this match isn't even for the belts.
Tony?
It's so funny how the belts have literally, like, never changed hands except maybe on the first Battle of the Belt, and I think it was just an ROH belt.
I think that Tony, it's like clearly he's like, oh, we need to save belt changes for a special occasion. Like, we don't want to waste them on Battle of the Belts. Tony, joy is not made to be a crumb, okay? We're not hoarding things anymore. When something is delicious and ripe, we just eat it. But I mean, not that Anna Jay should become the champion. She shouldn't at this moment, but I think we could have had a few more belts change.
There's so many belts. Surely one of them could change hands.
Yeah. I like this. This seems fine. There was a tweet from Mina today that she was like, wait, I'll be there soon, in response to something Mariah said. And that was interesting to me because I was like, this obviously is a kayfabe thing, but did also feel like, okay, but maybe I think something did get held up.
Yeah.
I think it's a Visa issue.
Sense. I think so too. I need Mina to get here and really kick things into gear a little bit more. Although, I totally enjoyed this match and, I enjoyed this promo. So
what I don't enjoy is hearing people complain about Mariah right now. I'm not really at my leisure for it because I just don't think women just don't get that much space to, ramp things up. So I want.
It's truly like, can you give her a minute? Like, calm down.
No one
Seriously.
can. No one can give anyone a minute for anything in this damn business.
They'll give Samoa Joe as many minutes as he wants, but not Mariah.
Okay, well, it was actually, he had a really important reign. He had a really important and memorable reign that we all remember.
Oh, yeah. We're all very invested in that.
God help us. Okay. Oh, my God. But remember when he did say that he was going to be on that panel? He was going to be on the...
Yeah.
But then he never did
it.
There was going to be a panel that decided who got a shot. Was that it? And you had to go. You had to go
show
before
the
your
committee.
Evidence before the committee.
Of course, we loved that.
That would have been so
someone
good.
might have to go before a committee. You're like, yeah, that's a
Introduce
great idea.
some bureaucracy. Yeah,
That's where the comedy is.
Nobody ever showed us a committee meeting.
No. Oh, it was
Not even
so.
one.
Oh God, that was so fucked up.
That was fucked up.
Of all the things that AEW has promised and then never delivered on, that's maybe the worst.
This is so sick. Samoa Joe, just like a politician. You can't trust him. What, Leah?
What did MVP call Shelton Benjamin that I was also obsessed with a couple weeks ago? It was something like that.
The claims department. No,
the complaint department, right? Yeah, that's funny.
The way I know that if BT still existed, there would be the stupidest thing about that.
Oh my God. We could get 6 weeks out of the complaints department and it would be the funniest 5 minutes of my week. Every time.
Every time.
All right. Well, speaking of MVP, okay. Yes. All right. So Swerve was at WrestleDream and he got an in-ring promo where he was like, I'm going to talk about my past, present, and future. And I said, well, no, we can't. No one is allowed to talk about their past, present, and future in the ring anymore. But he just got interrupted immediately by MVP and Shelton Benjamin, who came out, and MVP was like, have you given any more thought to joining me and ditching your dump-ass manager, Prince Nana? And Swerve was like, I've thought about it, and I'm actually a loyal person who won't be dumping Prince Nana. And Prince Nana capered. He was dancing.
Swerve did such a good job with this because he was listing, he was like, Nana does this, and he was listing all the terrible things Nana has done, and including selling weed to the high schoolers in a parking lot.
Still sells weed to high schoolers.
And then he like turned and he was like, yeah, I know about that. And Prince Nana had the funniest face where he was like, oh shit, boss. And then he ended it and he was like, but the one thing about Prince Nana is he's family. And it was like that was the moment that I was like, yes!
Do you think that this tweet is about Prince Nana that I included that just says, my leash, your jester just fucking bit me?
That's a complaint that went to the complaints department.
Oh, yeah. Wow. I would love it if they had like a complaint box where little things like that get written on slips of paper and put in there.
You know who would have so much fun with that? Is Stokely Hathaway on Twitter.
Oh my God,
he should make his new bit pulling things out of the complaint box.
What I would really like is, you know, that the episode of The Office with the complaint box where no one has ever looked in it, and Michael is like, we're going to get to the bottom of these, and some of them are like 10 years old. That's really what I would like to be happening backstage. Yeah. For there to have been a complaints box for the past 5 years that no one ever unlocked, and Vice Principal Christopher Daniels gets bullied into opening it up and running through all of the complaints one by one. That would be a fun, like, time capsule of things that have happened over the years.
Yeah. That would be fun. They should have done that for their 5-year anniversary, really.
Fuck. Why aren't we hired?
Yeah, these are the great ideas that we do. Infuriating the IWC with.
Girls, we don't want this on the show.
They're like, fun. Why would we want to make the IWC angrier? And we're like, no, but we'd make them so angry.
Yeah, but we'd be having so much fun. This is fine. This is why we own our own promotion. Okay, so Swerve is like, I'm sticking with Prince Nana. MVP or Shelton Benjamin, one of the men, is like, it really wasn't like a question. Like, you either will join us or be destroyed by us. And so then on Dynamite, Shelton Benjamin, 49 years old, fought Lio Rush, and that actually was a very fun match.
It was really fun. I was surprised at what a good time I had. Yeah,
I was really not expecting to be into it because, frankly, guys who have absolutely no personality but wrestle well usually don't actually get me. But I was like, this man does move in a compelling way.
Yeah. Didn't look 49.
No. And Leo Rush also is just I forget because we don't see him that often, but he's so fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think the combo, like Shelton Benjamin being a big guy, I mean, he could really throw Leo Rush around, and Leo Rush was selling and doing cool stuff.
It made me think that eventually when we get that Shelton Benjamin Isaiah Cassidy match, it's gonna fucking rule.
That's true. There'll be some shrieks.
Oh my god, the sounds we are gonna hear in that match. So then afterwards, MVP was like, Swerve Strickland, time to fight, I believe, Shelton Benjamin, you must. And then Swerve had a backstage promo where he was like, yeah, all right. Okay, I'll fight him for sure. So I think the big thing that we really have to talk about is we were lied to. By our community.
Oh my god, I can't.
No one will own up to it.
No one, literally everybody is acting. We're in every wrestling space that we're in online being like, who said to us that Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley were a tag team? Who told? It was all of you. It was all of you.
All of you.
We're out there being like, the Hurt Business are a tag team. They're going to debut in the Tag Team Casino Gauntlet. Like, you're all talking to us like, we don't fucking know anything. We're children, okay? We're just little fucking babies. And you're talking to us like, of course, everybody knows the Hurt Business is a tag team. But this past week, we learned that they're not. Someone tells
everyone was just like, yeah, they're not. Everyone, like, no one apologized. No one said, oh, sorry you thought that. But no, they're just like, yeah, of course they're not. What do you mean, of course they're not? We're being gaslit.
You've been talking like they are. Why would you be talking about them in the context of the tag team division if they aren't a tag team? Why would you say those things to us?
Our beloved, we have this commenter named Dex Baker, who leaves us beautiful YouTube.
We love him so much.
He makes us pop every single time.
Yes.
He left, like, this week, a very, very nice comment where he was just like, by the way, Bobby Lashley isn't Shelton Benjamin's tag team partner.
It was humiliating.
I replied to it and was like, what the fuck? How am I finding that out now?
Yeah, because no one even said it after. He was the only one.
It was, thank you so much for saying that to us. No one else, everyone else misled us in the first place and then never corrected. Like, what is going through some of your heads? I love you all, but
the
what
things
is
we get
happening?
Corrected on a daily basis.
That's true. People love to correct us.
They're always like, you said that was in 1996, but it was in 1995. We're out here being like married lovers, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, and you're telling me those men are barely friends? They were loosely associated in a faction? They're not married lovers?
We say married lovers and you say ha and don't even correct the assumption.
I'm starting to think that our listeners are not taking tag team marriage seriously.
Or us seriously. I'm like, do you like seeing us humbled and mortified?
We're in your kindergarten class. We don't know anything. You can tell us anything.
You're just behind our back being like, oh, it's so sweet. They don't know how to pronounce any words. Oh, it's so cute. They said the stupidest thing the other day, but they look so cute saying it. Please, we are human beings. Okay, please help us with our dignity.
With our dignity. It's a hard job, but someone needs to do it for us.
Let me ask you girls a question. Do you guys think that this past 3 minutes are why someone described us on Twitter today as high maintenance?
Actually, that's true, because I was like, high maintenance, like, you just listen to us. You don't have to maintain our emotional state. But maybe you do, actually. Yeah, maybe that's not wrong.
Have we ever done this before, though? Have we ever publicly lambasted our listeners? No, because they've never done us this dirty. And you know what? I won't blame our listeners first and foremost, although I think some of you do have something to answer for there, but
it's not all on them. Eric Slenderman sent us a link. This is Shelton Benjamin. He didn't say He didn't say Shelton Benjamin is not married to Bobby Lashley, but he was like, this is how you would find out more about Shelton Benjamin.
Oh, sure, we had the resources. We could have Googled at any time. That's not the issue. Of course, we could have looked at the Hurt
Eric,
Business's
couldn't
Wikipedia
you have
page.
said in the email, couldn't you have said, like, and by the way, he's not married to Bobby Lashley? Couldn't you have added that? I just think we could have had a little... I just think it's been a joke at our expense, perhaps, by people that we love, by people that we have built a community with, and they've betrayed us in this way. And it's just demoralizing. It is.
Who else do we think loves each other that doesn't actually love each other, you know?
That's so real. What else have we said? What else have we said? So... I don't know. I think I don't really have the energy to get into anything else about this at this time, to be honest. I will just say that Swerve was wearing his pigtails at both events, and they're so cute. He's so cute.
And he honestly, like, at the pay-per-view, he looked like the biggest star. Like, his little white lace gauntlet outfit, like, and his sunglasses and the lighting. It was great.
He looked cool, but he also looked sweetie baby.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hi,
combo.
sweetie baby. So, and then this is our final topic of the night. Dustin Chuck Taylor, I am giving to you the first ever, it's shocking after 3 years, the inaugural Best Behaved Boy Award of the week, because what did Dustin... Well, he did a couple of different things this past week.
He did a couple different things.
Hey, guys, tell me about it.
Yeah.
Number one, picture evidence. Proof
on the pre-show.
Not just picture evidence, but picture evidence in a suit.
In a suit.
And did he leave his... Mostly well-fitting. He did leave his huge phone in the pocket of the suit for all his pictures, which is a real no-no. And I think that that Derek, the menswear guy, might have had a few things to say about what was going on with the cuffs and the button. But overall, a beautiful suit that he looked lovely in, and he posed for and he smiled, and he looked happy.
Did beautiful poses. So cute.
Yes.
So delightful. Never seen him look so happy.
No, not in a long time. What else did he do?
He was on the pre-show, so we got to see him moving,
on the pre-show.
talking.
Proof of life. Proof of life.
He tried. He tried at something.
He tried pretty hard, I would say, yeah.
Yes. Something he hadn't done before. That's
brave.
Wonderful.
That was brave.
Very brave.
He was brave. Best behaved, bravest boy, perhaps. Yes. And what is the final thing that Dustin did for us today?
Medical information.
He tweeted that he had an MRI today and that he bought a house. That's a lot of information.
It's a lot of information.
That'll keep that. I can live off that for a full year, probably, in terms of Dustin information.
And he, would we love to know exactly what was going on with that MRI and what the results are? Of course we would, yeah.
I'd love some clarity about whether it was in fact an ankle MRI or if there's something else going on. But
of course, if it was the love of our lives, the son of our hearts, Trent, he would have posted it. He would have just posted the MRI.
Absolutely, we would
Trent
this. Yeah,
he would have.
Trent's listening right now. Like, I never got an award, and I've posted my MRIs.
Actually, he did get called out last week. Like, he said that he was our very special boy, but you're right, he didn't get the best boy.
Greg's basically posting his login to my chart, and he's like, he said one thing about his MRI, and he's getting an award. Well, listen, it's a sliding scale. Okay,
it's a sliding scale. Yeah, it's a curve.
Dustin, imagine the award you would get if you send us your MyChart password. I mean,
or even just tell us, like, are we pre-surgery? Are we post-surgery?
Surgery MRI.
I'm so cheerful to hear that he is seeing a doctor, because that means he is probably like on a path. But I'd love to know what curve in the path we're at.
I'm like, we're all on a path. But yeah, we'd love a little more information. But, we will take what we can get. We really appreciated
that. Thank you so much, Dustin.
And you know what?
Very exciting.
We loved hearing that Dustin bought a house. We're proud of him. That's our little birthday clown. Okay?
That's a boy who apparently knows that he has a job going forward, which I love to hear.
That's what we like.
And listen, Jimmy Jacobs out, Dustin in.
Step into that power vacuum, buddy. It's right there waiting for you.
I
you
mean,
could be Tony Khan's right-hand man on that.
With a vacuum, you barely have to step. It pulls you in. Okay?
That's so true. Yeah.
Just
Jimmy Jacobs' vacuum is sucking Dustin right into it.
Thank you so much. You are our best behaved boy of the week. The award will be in the mail. And we love you forever. And we wish we could see you on screen more. But we saw you this week, and that was really good. So thank you.
Get that surgery. Come back on screen all the time.
Yes, please. Be safe. And be careful with your body.
And not on Shockwave. Not on Shockwave?
No, I can't be on Shockwave. Oh, no, I don't think it can be on Shockwave.
Especially not if Shockwave's on Thursdays. We just can't.
God, no. Well, we would just be, our podcast would just be us watching Shockwave together.
Just a live watch, yeah.
And almost never seeing Dustin.
Just like 2 hours of long pause and be, is that it? No.
No. Okay, girls. Did I miss anything you really wanted to talk about?
Nope.
No. Great job in your sickened state.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And thank you to both of you for being the two powerful legs of a stool that we are. We are that stool. And on that note, I've been Allie.
I've been Ann.
And I've been Leah.
My God, it's Tunnel Talk. Our theme is by Chris Corkin. We have merch now. You can find it at choptees.com. You can find us on Twitter and Tumblr at Tunnel Talk Pod, via email, tunneltalkpod@gmail.com, on Twitch at Tunnel Talk Pod. You can also find us on the Social Suplex Network feed, where you can check out some of the other great podcasts on the network and perhaps hear us shilling their merch in future, depending on what we pitch. And you can find us on the Social Suplex Network Discord, where all the learners, God, who do I think I am, Chris Jericho? Where all the listeners we just lambasted hang out with us. Please rate, review, and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. Stay snug or stay frosty or stay soft. And please come back next week.